Happy holidays from Matty Loves Movies. Welcome back to Cinema Soapbox. We have quite the face-off happening today at Cinema Soapbox and Matty Loves Movies. If you haven't seen it already, go watch Kelsey's Why Die Hard Is Not a Christmas Movie. And right now, we're going to hear from Chad, who maybe is going to rebut that a little bit. Joining me today is my panel, as always. Hello, panel.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hi, Matt.
Happy holidays. All right. Well, without further ado, take it away, Chad.
All right. So, first off, I do want to say, I am pretty nervous about this, but I think my points are pretty solid. And I have to add, mine. If you've seen a lot of the other presentations that have been done in this, series so far, mine is going to be a little bit more unconventional. I don't have slides per se. I just have a lot of images, some GIFs, stuff like that, to some music, and then I have my own little script that I'm going to read off. But I also want to say, take it easy on me, okay? I have feelings, and they're very sensitive, or I'm very sensitive. So, all right. So, and I also wanted to add that the timing of this may be a little weird, so there may be some pauses. I tried to time it out with the video. So, let's get into it. Welcome to the party, pal. Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs. If you're what I think you are, you should know when to listen, when to shut up, and when to pray. No fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? When you're a rookie, they can teach you everything about how to be a cop, except how to live with a mistake. Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker. These are great action movie lines, right? Okay, well, how about these? If Christmas Eve, families, stockings, chestnuts, Rudolph and Frosty, those things ring a bell? 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except the four assholes coming in the rear in standard 2x2 formation. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. If this is their idea of Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year's. These are quotes from the same movie. Can you name it? That's right. It's Die Hard. Of course. Die Hard is a brilliant action movie with many amazing quotes. But I'm here to argue that it's also a Christmas movie. Hearing some of the quotes that mention Christmas things, you can partially imagine why so many people watch Die Hard, not just year-round, but make it a point to watch it in December each year. Die Hard is filled with so many references to Christmas in its setting, music, production, plot, and themes. There's no way it's just an action movie. It may be an unconventional Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie nonetheless. Argyle, the limo driver, tells us this in the very beginning of the movie when he plays music and has to reassure John McClane, no, don't worry, this is Christmas music, but maybe just not the type you're used to. Die Hard takes place on Christmas Eve, and I know many movies do, some very Christmas and some that don't really feel like Christmas movies. If the Christmas connection stopped there, I would agree that Die Hard doesn't feel like a Christmas movie, but they go much deeper. Whether you're religious or not, Christmas is a big deal. It's at the end of the year when people generally look back on the year to appreciate what they have and figure out what needs to change. We see this with Sergeant Al Powell, who is a poor schmuck who made a mistake and is now patrolling on Christmas Eve. Guess what? He makes a friend and gains some closure. Hans Gruber wants to use the season to be a Grinch, steal what's not his, and cause terror in people's lives who just want to go home and see their families for Christmas. Speaking of family, John McClane is in danger of losing his. His lovely wife is moving on with a new job, and he can't quite get his priorities straight. It's a very Walter Hobbs thing to do before Walter Hobbs even did it. Die Hard is kind of like Elf in that way. John's wife's name is Holly, which is a plant culturally known to be associated with Christmas and Jesus, even being called Christ's thorn. And this isn't Die Hard's only tie to our Lord and Savior. John himself is a Christ-like figure. Bear with me. He is the savior of Nakatomi Plaza. He gives the gift of life, family, and Christmas to the affected employees while suffering at the hands of sinners. His feet bleed as he works to produce miracles. Hans Gruber and his cronies did not prepare for John selflessly putting himself at risk to save everyone. Okay, I'm sure it was somewhat self-preservation too, but he's a cop and a hero, so I think the analogy works to tie John McClane and Die Hard to Christmas. I understand why some people push back on the idea that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. That Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but people do this with genre all the time. People will constantly argue that The Silence of the Lambs is not a horror movie. Even when you point out all the horror elements, it still doesn't fit their narrow view of what a horror movie can be in their head. That's another presentation for another time, but this is also true for Die Hard. Die Hard doesn't have a conventional Santa Claus or take place at the North Pole. However, at its core, it has the same messaging as movies like Home Alone. Don't take your family for granted, because when life throws violent thieves at you, you'll wish you could hold your family tight. A believer in love, hope, and togetherness can truly rise above to defeat the Grinch, because unfortunately, not everyone will see the error of their ways. Basically, Die Hard and Home Alone are kind of the same movie. Die Hard fits perfectly in that mold of what makes Christmas movies so special to remember to not take what you have for granted. Die Hard is also filled with loving nods to the holiday season, with multiple characters playing, singing, and humming Christmas songs. Decorations all over Nakatomi Plaza, Holly's house, and other locations we see in the film. People are getting drunk and celebrating the end of another year. There's no conventional snow, but Ellis snorts some snow off of a desk, and papers fall from the sky at the end of the movie to simulate snow, which is pretty funny, sweet, and becomes a striking, realistic visual. There's no Santa, but John is Santa-like when he gives people the gift of safety while punishing the naughty. He also dresses one of the naughty bad guys in a Santa hat to make the body festive. Christmas gift wrapping saves the day because John uses some season's greeting tape to attach a gun to his back. There's literally Christmas baked into every fiber of this film. If it's not visual decorations, someone is referencing Christmas or making Christmas jokes. The movie could take place on a different holiday, sure, but it would be a very different movie, and it would lose a lot of its purpose. Die Hard's writing is special, and its incorporation of Christmas into its screenplay, but a normal guy trying to survive the holiday sets it apart from other action movies. Hans chooses Christmas Eve specifically to catch everyone off guard, drunk, and vulnerable to becoming hostages. The police are ill prepared for this too. A lot of them are off. The movie wouldn't make as much sense if it wasn't a Christmas movie. Anyways, yes, this is a Christmas action movie for adults. People die. There are lots of guns and explosions, and people say motherfucker. But at its core, it's a movie about love, family, friendship, togetherness, goodwill towards man, giving, morality, the importance of being good and not being naughty. Making good choices is important. Die Hard shows us how beautiful and warm Christmas vibes, music, cheer, and decoration can be juxtaposed against the darkness and the wickedness of man. There are those that wouldn't think twice about you and your safety and happiness, but there are others who believe in helping each other and giving without expecting anything in return instead of taking. Christmas can mean many different things to different people, and I think Die Hard encompasses all of these things with its religion, family, fun, and excitement. It reminds us to take stock of our lives at the end of the year and remember what's really important, since we forget throughout the year when our priorities get all out of whack. I don't know if this presentation is enough to change minds. I feel like people are dug into their opinions on this, just like how people are dug into their political leanings. I'm not telling anybody to not love Die Hard, no matter what their opinion, no matter their opinion on how Christmas it is. They can watch it anytime they want. In fact, I love watching Die Hard throughout the year. However, I hope I was able to shed some light on why so many people have Die Hard as a Christmas movie staple. In our minds, it lives and breathes Christmas. It says more about Christmas than most movies do, and it helps that it's just a damn great film. It's not just a Christmas movie, but it might be the best one. Now let's all go put on our ugly Christmas sweaters, our Santa hats, get some eggnog or hot chocolate, and throw on that festive action masterpiece from 1988. Yippee Ki Yay, motherfuckers, and Merry Christmas.
Nice.
And then there's just more to the video.
Nice.
I finished early.
She said.
Oh no.
It's a Die Hard video. I figured I could make.
Do we want to? Do you want us to finish this video, or can we move
Yes,
on
please.
to the questions? Okay.
That's it.
Okay. There we are. Excellent. All right. All right, Chad, you're in the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Chris, I would like
Yes.
to hear from you on this. What you think here?
I would like to tell you, I love the parallel of the name Holly, like, having more of a meaning if you look at it through the Christmas lens. Also, Hans Gruber as the Grinch, like that parallel. Didn't think about that, or didn't never considered that. So I love those points. Yeah, no, that was really good. That was really good.
Thank you.
I think, and I mean, I already mentioned this before, but I guess I'm gonna bring up just again because I love repeating myself. But like, then why didn't Lethal Weapon get the same treat? Like, again, it's on Christmas, like, or it's set around Christmas. Why is Die Hard the one? It like
to answer that question, I just have to say I don't know if I can answer that question necessarily because it's been a long time since I've seen Lethal Weapon, so I haven't like analyzed it or thought about it as much. I don't personally watch that around Christmas, but I'm not here to say that it's also not a Christmas movie. As far as like what films like kind of get like their like, legacy like re-evaluation as other things than maybe what they were first kind of shown as. I don't know like how that happens, like culturally. Like if you look at something like even like It's a Wonderful Life, like that didn't correct me for someone else who knows more if I'm wrong, but I think like that one was just kind of a random movie when it first came out, and then later people started to go, no wait, this is a Christmas classic, this is probably one of the best movies ever made, and this is like one of the best Christmas movies ever made. And so yeah, I don't know how certain movies get their kind of vibe. I will probably say that from what I remember about Lethal Weapon, I feel like Die Hard just really hits all of the beats more as a Christmas movie. But I will recognize that they are pretty similar and they do both take place on Christmas. And I just think that maybe in Lethal Weapon's case, taking place on Christmas Eve is maybe the only big thing that ties it to Christmas, whereas I think Die Hard has a way more.
To be fair, actually, I think you did answer my question there fully, because Die Hard only takes place on that day. Lethal Weapon, on the other hand, it's over the span of time. So, okay, I can kind of see that. Okay, all right.
Chad, I thought this was a great presentation. I thought the part I liked the most was when you brought the religious aspect into it, because I think I'm not very religious, but I know Christmas, a lot of people lose sight of the fact that it is quite literally a religious holiday first and foremost, and then people have interpreted it to mean something grander, more of a vibe, more of a time of year. And I like how you did kind of bring those parallels in, almost kind of like talking about John McClane as like this Jesus-like figure, to make it so that even if you take all the vibes and the commercialism of the Christmas out of it, its themes make it a Christmas movie more than any of its actual imagery can. And I think that's very good, because a lot of people will point at, well, look at that Santa hat, look at that Santa sculpture, look at the raining papers, which are all great examples, but like, what does it say thematically about Christmas? And I think you brought up so many great points about the family and the togetherness and what it stands for. But as a tough panelist, I'm just going to ask some questions because I just want to know deeper into the argument here. You said that this is a movie you love watching year round. And this could help or hurt your argument, it doesn't matter, but are movies like Elf, movies like The Santa Claus, Polar Express, are those movies also enjoyable all year round? Do you also enjoy those, or is Die Hard the exception to it?
I mean, that specifically, I guess, would be a matter of perspective of whoever wants to watch them. Personally, if I'm just going like my personal, I probably wouldn't watch a lot of those year round. So that's where I would say that, Die Hard would be more of like a unique kind of thing, to where maybe to the opposition's point that like it doesn't, it rides both camps. Like you can enjoy it around Christmas because it has so much, as I feel like I've demonstrated pretty well. Why people watch it around Christmas time and just like love it, even though like someone like Kelsey might not, you like can't feel like in December, like that's something I can throw on. for me it totally is, but for like the rest of the year, I think because it also is a fun action movie, despite that, I think it just has different like layers and levels of appreciation that is a testament to how good of a movie it is, not a detriment to its Christmasness.
Yeah. And then I'm on your camp of I do believe it is a Christmas movie. So this is more of a devil's advocate perspective of like, well, if it's such a Christmas movie, why is this the one that you can enjoy all year round? Whereas Elf is solely Christmas movie. And I think you very well eloquated it there, that it has other elements as well. And that brings me to a point that you said. I wrote down a quote you mentioned, which was that this movie says more about Christmas than most movies do. I would like you to just elaborate. Like, what does this say about Christmas more than Elf does, or more than Home Alone or Arthur Christmas, or these movies that are so distinguishedly like have Santa or reindeer as a focal point? What does this movie say more than those do? It might say a lot that those do, but the more is what I'm looking at as like, as a devil's advocate.
No, I mean that's a good point, and I'm not going to say like every point that I make in my argument is completely perfect. I think like that's a little bit of hyperbole, where I just like, I'm so passionate about Die Hard that I'm like, this says so much about, Christmas, maybe more than others do. So, I'll probably like backtrack a little bit. Like the movies that you mentioned, I don't think it says more than what those have to say about Christmas, but probably more than like, movies that aren't about Christmas, or maybe like more than like movies that, I don't know, just have like Santa in it or something like that, but don't have like this deep like connection to family and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there.
I don't know.
The fact that it doesn't have to necessarily be about the commercial selling the brand, it's just about the themes, which I think is what your main argument was built on, the themes of it all, which is a testament. I was giving you an opportunity to talk about it, and you did. But the last thing I'll say, again, just because you're on the hot seat, I think it's fun. Sequels. I think this is kind of what ties into the Lethal Weapon argument a little bit. Die Hard as a franchise, would you say that because the franchise ultimately evolves into something that is not very Christmas oriented, does that hurt or help this film? And do you think that should have anything to say about Die Hard being a Christmas movie, the fact that the other sequels are not, whereas Santa Claus 3 is a Christmas movie, Home Alone 2 is a Christmas movie? What is every sequel of Die Hard getting further away from Christmas? Does that, you think, hurt the legacy of Die Hard as a Christmas movie? And this is not like a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious if because I haven't seen those movies, I wonder if that has any sort of impact on whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie based on how the sequels panned out.
That's definitely an interesting question. And I do like the question.
Thank you.
I think I would say that, I think I would honestly say that because the sequels, because I know some people paint like Die Hard 2 as a Christmas movie because it also, I believe, takes place on Christmas. But like I've always kind of pushed back on that one, and I definitely wouldn't say like the other ones after that are really. I don't think they even take place at Christmas. And I think that kind of strengthens Die Hard's ability to be tied more towards Christmas because the sequels don't do that. And it shows why the first one is so special. Not that you can't enjoy the rest of them. I don't think anybody really enjoys the fifth one, but I think the rest are movies that I really love to watch. But like I wouldn't watch those around Christmas time. And I think it you can take something like a Home Alone or something else and like tie it more towards Christmas, where I don't know, like even sometimes with like Home Alone 2 that does have a lot of Christmas in it, but then you got like scenes like the angry cab driver and stuff like that make it kind of scary, and then I'm just like that one maybe even like a little bit of a step down of a Christmas movie because like not that New York is a very Christmas like city, but I feel like that one is maybe because it doesn't have the home and stuff like that, and that actually might be, you could say, well, Die Hard also doesn't really have like the home unless you get the brief like snippet of Holly, which is if you watch Kelsey's video where she's anti Die Hard as a Christmas movie, not anti Die Hard, saying that they don't spend a lot of time at home. I think maybe that's also just a point where it's like, maybe if they would have spent more time at home, maybe it could have been even Christmasier, but I don't think that makes it not Christmas. I think what we get is really Christmas. And I think just like the image of like them embracing and going home, you can then imagine in your own mind, like, of John McClane and Gennaro, or she's like, it's McClane now, actually. And they go home and just have a really happy reconciliation. And just, I imagine that. We don't get to see it. It's not like Marley with his family, unfortunately. But you can kind of imagine that, I think. And I think that I'm straying away from your actual question.
No, I appreciate it.
But I think Die Hard just feels way more like a Christmas movie than those sequels, which is why I don't think those hurt it. Because like you would say, well, wouldn't the people who made it then go and make the sequels Christmas too? It's like, not necessarily. I just don't think that really matters.
Yeah, I appreciate your answer. And again, I'm throwing these questions at you just as a devil's advocate, but I thought what you said about themes and family being the crux of what makes a Christmas movie really did resonate with me. So as someone who hates the corporate side of Christmas and all that, I like how you focused on why it's a Christmas movie outside of the iconography of the images, which I thought was very special. So a great job, Chad. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I think that you could answer two birds with one stone based on because he asked, what makes this? Does it hurt it that, or what did you mean by it feels more like Christmas than other movies? It feels more like a Christmas movie than Lethal Weapon. It feels more like a Christmas movie than other things. Like that's the thing I think that is strong about it that makes it feel that way, is that there's a feeling of Christmas. I would like to talk about your juxtaposition of John McClane and our Heavenly Father Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I hear what you're saying. He did, Jesus famously walked across the glass and had the machine gun and everything. But like, I hear what you're saying. He is saving them, but there's a lot of movies that save him. I mean, if that's the case, then Arnold Schwarzenegger's played Jesus a lot of times, So I would like to. Do you have any other? Can you expand on the Jesus relationship with John McClane?
Yeah, probably not too much. I mean, you can find a lot of things about Jesus that didn't happen with John. He didn't sacrifice himself for the good of humanity, stuff like that. He didn't go go to Hans Gruber and say, kill me and save everyone else. He didn't do anything like that. If he did, then, maybe I think that analogy could have been even stronger. But I think just because we have the, it's one of those fun things in movies where you don't know if the filmmaker's intention was to do that, but then you sit there and you think about it and you're like, wait, his wife's name is Holly, has a special relationship with that. And then, throughout the movie, because when things happen, he is not wearing shoes. And because he's, getting refreshed in the bathroom, and he immediately has to act. And so throughout the movie, he's trying to find shoes. He finds some shoes and he's the killer's feet are smaller than my sister's, or whatever the line is. And, he's always trying to find it. And then they use that against John later when they're shoot the glass because he's going to step on the glass and stuff like that. So then he has to go through the pain of, doing that, crawling through confined spaces, kind of how I guess maybe, Jesus was in the tomb, kind of a deal. Maybe you could look at that, in the confined space of that. I'm just I'm making shit up right now, but I just mean you can look through John going through so much pain and trials and being tested in order to not prove that he's God, but to save the people. And he's doing this because no one else will, no one else can, because everyone else is known and accounted for except for him. So I mean, I think really that's just the edge of where that analogy lines, and it's just one of those very interesting things to think about. And it's not even really something I necessarily think about when I'm watching Die Hard around Christmas. I'm not this movie's so Jesus Like, this movie has so much religious stuff, but I think it's something interesting, an interesting framing device to look at it, because you can do that with other like Christmas movies and stuff like that. And I think like Home Alone has just as much like religious stuff as Die Hard. Well, maybe a little more. They go to an actual church, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can like expand on it even more than that without thinking deeper about it.
Oh, dude, you went further up your ass than I thought you would. So that's because you could also say something like, Jesus was tempted in the desert by Satan, and John McClane was tempted by Hans Gruber when he pretended to be his ally for a second, and they smoked cigarettes. So,
good point.
Yeah, I know, right? It's. I'm obviously on your side, so it's harder for me to come up with the questions. But I think that I think someone who is not on your side might have some questions, some civil questions, for you here. So, Kelsey, did you have anything you would like to bring up?
I am just hearing like a lot of talk about the themes that happen in this movie. Family, good triumphing over evil. And so now, are we just saying that any movie that has those themes can categorize as a Christmas movie? Is that? I'm curious.
And I think that's a good question. And I think the thing is like what I kind of said. I can't remember if it was on this recording or if it was on your argument or your debate, not debate, your presentation. Thank you, Chad. You're welcome, Chad. I think what it is it's like not just the themes, as I kind of like laid out a little bit, whereas I think it's like just a combination of all of these things, and that it does take place on Christmas. There's a very specific reason why, because the plot requires, with Hans Gruber and the way he wants things to go down, he has the whole plan, and then John, foils it, all of the decorations, all the stuff around it. Then you have the family stuff. And I think because, look, I mean, we hang out with our families all year, right? But around Christmas, it's special. It's a little bit specialer. For some reason, we pick this time in the year to get together on this specific day or week or whatever, and share gifts and laugh and just hang out. Or some people don't see their families for a while, and then they finally get together around this time. I think it just kind of makes that family connection a little bit deeper, and I feel like that's why Die Hard, because it's making, and that's the big thing is, well, Die Hard Die Hard can take place on any other day of the year, is what someone who doesn't think it's a Christmas movie will say. And then I'm like, well, the filmmakers clearly chose to put it on Christmas for some reason. And I feel like it's like when you look at Harry Potter and you're like, well, would Harry have done well in Slytherin? Maybe, probably, to be honest. But it's his choice that made for it. And that's like all it takes. And I feel like the specific choices that were made in Die Hard make things like connection to the family and reconciliation and being tested and then being changed and then having a totally different outlook on life. Like, you can totally have those in other non-Christmas movies, but I think because we are rooting it to Christmas, I think it makes it a little bit more special, a little bit more deep. And yeah, I don't know, I could keep rambling, but
yeah, I just think that at the end of the day, like, these are all kind of like interpretations, and whether or not you make the jump between Hans being the Grinch and John McClane being like Jesus we were comparing him to earlier, question mark. I just think that though that's just depending on what kind of audience member you are and whether or not you make those jumps in your brain. But what I will say is that I really enjoyed your presentation, Chad. I thought that it was really, really cool and unique. And I like how you kind of like really took a chance on having a script and then having visuals to line up to what you were saying. And, whether or not you believe, I think it was really successful. And I think that, having the visuals like from the film, it was way more enhanced than my presentation, which was just slideshow with, words on screen. But So I will say it was a very, very good presentation. And
I was just going to add that, like,
go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, like, to that, like, I think just like how our opinions are of whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie I kind of mirror that a little bit to our presentations. They're different, but I don't think either one is better than the other. I think we just have different thoughts and feelings and ways we approach this kind of argument. And yours was very laid out, fact-based with bullet points. I think that's a great way to lay out an argument. You know, you don't need the weird fluff like my hat and special videos that I make to lay out an argument. I think yours was hard to go against because you make really solid points, and I just think at the end of the day we're just going to be dug into what we believe, unless you're someone like Chris who is just on the fence and then could be swayed, like all those undecided voters out there. But
it's all vibes based.
it's all vibes based. But yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to agree, but I like the discussion.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it might just be one of those things we agree to disagree about.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Did you have another thing, Kelsey, by the way? Because I interrupted you before. Did you have another point?
No, I think I was just gonna end my sentence with like I don't even know what I was gonna say. It wasn't relevant. It wasn't a super relevant point.
All right. Well, there it is. Chad, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the Dill Pickle Movie Network also, where I do Picture This, and we are trying to watch every Best Picture nominee known to man. We've covered a lot of years. We're not going in chronological order. We're doing this month is December. Dylan, what year are we doing? 1940?
60. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have it.
Well, last month we did 1962. Check that episode out. And then, also check out Cinema Chad is my main channel where I basically do ranking stuff. Where you ranking with me, or you ranking with me is the 45. Show that I do where 45. I rank a bunch of stuff. Check out that 1945 on December, whenever it drops. And then I'm trying to do reviews. I'm trying to start doing more reviews over there. So check out Cinema Chad when you can. There's a lot of great videos on there. Check out Welcome to Primetime, which is my horror channel that I run with my wife, Carrie, my buddy, Hunter. And we just talk horror stuff all the time. We do brackets. We do games. We talk Buffy the Vampire Slayer a lot. We just have a lot of great time over there. I think that's about it for me. Oh, Letterboxd, Facebook, stuff like that. Chadwick Webb. Find me.
All right. Did you guys know that Die Hard is based on a book? And apparently that book is called The Bible. But
that was the other thing I was going to say. Anyway, the Bible. It hit me delayed. Sorry.
Did you have a rebut that you needed to?
No. I was just going to say I really, really wanted to read the book before this, just to really get to the nooks and crannies.
I read the screenplay.
What if the book just opened? It was a cold, wintry night. Santa flew his sleigh through the air, and down in California, it just opens with Christmas.
Then I would have something to really think about. Truly.
And she wouldn't have mentioned the book.
Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to Matty Loves Movies for more stuff like this. We really appreciate you watching this episode. If you have not seen Kelsey's presentation about why Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, go watch it right now. But happy holidays from Matty Loves Movies. Once again, my name is Matt. Thank you for coming to our film talk.